Hey guys, how's it going? AGP here. If you were on the last live stream, Facebook was being wonky, so I had to end that one and start this one. So hopefully you can see me. Let me just make sure that oh, hey Jen, hey Shireen. Yup, it is working because I can hear myself. All right, perfect. Yay! Hello, guys. So for anyone who is new to me here, hey there, I'm Amanda Goldman-Petri. All the cool kids call me AGP, and I'm founder of Market Like a Nerd, host of this Facebook group here where we geek out about business and marketing strategies that maximize your profits while minimizing your efforts. And on this live stream, I want to walk you through the behind the scenes of my $500,000 anti-launch. So there's no pitch or anything that I have to offer you here today. I just want to give you value because I've had so many people who have asked me to, like, Amanda, are you going to like do a little case study or behind the scenes of your little anti-launch? And so I'm going to do it today. So what I'm going to walk you through today is, you had the same issue with your live stream yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. Facebook was being weird. It like said I wasn't on, then it said I wasn't logged in, but then it said I was live. It was very, very weird. So anyway, we're here now. Hey, Marta. So today, I want to walk you through how we ditched the traditional launch style and made $500,000. So we're going to cover a few things in this live stream today. I'm going to walk you through the story. So what we did and what we didn't do to make this much money. $562,000 was the exact amount of revenue. I'll also walk you through the numbers. So not just the revenue, but what were the expenses and what did that look like in terms of profit? Because that'll give you like a more realistic idea of the money that was made. I'm going to list out all of the places where the clients came from and the exact number of clients that came from those places so that you can see exactly where the clients came from and kind of apply that to your business as well. And there are some lessons that you can take from this too. So that'll be the last thing that we do is we go over the lessons that you can learn from this little anti-launch. Now, the whole way through, as I'm going through this, if you have any questions at all, feel free to post them. I've got my phone here so that I can see the questions that you guys are sending. So nothing's off limits. If you want to ask me about expenses, ask me about like the real numbers, the things that didn't go right, why I did things the way that I did, anything, like no holds barred, just ask me whatever you want. Now, before I get into the story, I do want to do a little disclaimer because the title of this live stream is how we ditched launches and made $500,000. So my disclaimer here is when I say we ditched launches, I want you to know it was still an offer that was made where the doors opened and then the doors closed. So it was still an open closed door offer, which a lot of launches are. However, it was not at all a traditional launch, like not at all. It was super unconventional. There was no webinar. There were no affiliate partners. Like I didn't have like 1,000,001 people promoting my offer. There was no sales page for the primary offer. I didn't even have a freaking launch plan. Like there was no launch plan that went into this at all. And we didn't really make the offer to our list or our Facebook group either. So we broke all convention. So when I say that we ditched launches, what I mean is that we did an anti-launch. It was still an open closed door offer. It was still an open closed door offer, but we completely ditched convention and did an anti-launch to make over $500,000. So Ricardo says the internet is slow, but this is awesome. Oh, I'm sorry. Get high speed, maybe? So I have high speed. I hope it's not me. Okay, so that's my little disclaimer. Now let's go ahead and dive in. So first I want to walk you through the story, and then we'll go into like the revenue, the expenses, and the profit. Okay, so here's the story. So basically, I'm going to take you like way back, like a year ago. About a year ago, I was still coming up with the idea of Market Like a Nerd. Yes, I was a marketing coach. Yes, I had clients, but I didn't have the Market Like a Nerd brand. This brand is actually relatively new. And while I was working on that brand, while I was working on creating Market Like a Nerd, I had gone like 10 months without launching anything, without making any type of offer. And in that time, I was really just using my recurring income, my automated income, and my passive income to pay myself, to pay for the business expenses, to cover the rebrand costs and all of that. So I wasn't really launching anything, and I was kind of on the down low. And then I think it was June 2016, I came out of my lair and I put my website live. I put marketlikeanerd.com, that website live. And when I did that, I released my podcast, which I did modeling off of millionaires. A lot of what I did in this process, a lot of what I was doing in those 10 months off is I was studying millionaires. I was studying what millionaires did to be successful. I was studying who they hung out with. I was studying them. So my podcast, I modeled off of millionaires like Pat Flynn and John Lee Dumas. I also released my vlog, my video blog, and I modeled that off of millionaires like Jody Jellis and Marie Forleo. I went on 50 podcast interviews in like 60 days and basically just kind of went buck wild seeking out publicity. I got featured on Fast Company twice. Again, taking a hint from millionaires like Kim Luna and Jen Scalia, who are just constantly getting publicity. So I did all of this, the website release, the rebrand, the podcast, the vlog, the publicity. I did that because in those 10 months while I was off, like I said, I was studying millionaires. And what I realized is there was a really strong connection between influence and income. I noticed that a lot of the high income earners in the industry were also seen as high profile influencers who hung out with other high profile influencers. So I decided that with the rebrand, I was going to position myself as a high profile influencer. So that's what I did. I came out of my lair, released the website, the podcast, the vlog, the publicity. Then I decided to leverage that authority and use it to create more connections with influencers, with the idea that, again, I'm just going to hang out with other millionaires to put myself in the millionaire mindset and get to understand them a little bit more, work on my belief system, because if I'm hanging out with a lot of other millionaires, it becomes normal for me. It's not absurd for someone to make seven figures. It's completely normal to me now. Like, honestly, I look at seven figures and I'm like, oh, that's not a lot anymore. So the way that I did that was I organized a telesummit. Now, so that was my Market Like a Nerd Millionaire Masterclass series. That was the summit that I'm talking about. I organized that summit with 37 millionaires and marketing influencers. Now, originally, when I planned that summit, there was no intention for how to move it into like $1 million launch. That wasn't what I was trying to do. I just knew that I wanted to grow my list again, because every time I've done a rebrand, so this is like I think it was kind of sad. It's like my sixth business, or maybe it's a good thing. No, it's a good thing. It's like my sixth business. And with the coaching business, it's my second rebrand. But I'm sticking with it, guys. Market like a nerd for life. But I noticed every time I've done a rebrand or I've opened a new business, my open and click-through rates go down because people have to get to know me and the brand again. So I was like, oh, I'm doing a rebrand, so I've got to do another list build. So that was kind of the intention with the summit, is I was just going to do a list build so people could get to know the new brand, and so that I could position and align myself in the niche alongside these other millionaires and influencers. So while all of this was going on, while I was releasing the podcast, the vlogs, the publicity, organizing the summit, while all of that was going on, we were also buying a house. So my husband and I, we've been moving around quite a lot, like the last couple years, because he's just been trying to find a job that he really loves, and he doesn't want to be a stay-at-home dad. He wants a job. So he finally found a place that he loves, and we decided to buy a house near that job. When that happened, that finally inspired action. So remember, up until this point, I wasn't even trying to make money. I was just like using my automation, using my passive income, using my recurring income to pay myself and pay the business. I wasn't actively seeking out income. I wasn't actively making offers. I was just using passive automated income. But this house, when we decided to buy that finally inspired me to go and take action, because we wanted to buy it. We wanted to do all these renovations to it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and take action and actually try to make money now. So what I did first was, in that time, my main group program from the year before, it was called BAM Academy. That program ended, and I decided to do what I call a resell campaign, which is basically when you resell buyers into another offer. You turn entry-level buyers into high-ticket buyers. You take a previous buyer and you get them to buy again, a resell campaign. So this is one of my cash injection campaigns that I teach a lot of my clients. And I just went ahead and I did one for myself. I said, I teach people to do resell campaigns. I'll just do a resell campaign for myself. So this group program, BAM Academy, was ending. And basically what I did is I went back to those clients and I said, hey, this program is ending. If you want to continue working with me, I'm launching a mastermind, a year-long mastermind, which is something that I had only ever done in the past with a business partner. I hadn't actually launched one on my own myself before. So it was pretty new territory for me. It was actually kind of scary even thinking about it, because I'm like a hermit. I'm an introvert. I don't actively seek out like live stuff with people. But what I thought, like what my strategy here was, is if I can sell at least one person into it, then it'll force me to have to finish the offer. It'll force me to have to fill it. So I just need to get one person and then I have to fill it. So what I did is I went back to those buyers at BAM Academy, my previous group program, and I said, hey, I'm launching a mastermind. Who's interested? I wrote down the names of the people who were interested, and then I reached out to them through Facebook Messenger. And I just kind of listed out all of the details. I didn't make a sales page. I was just like, here's all the details of the mastermind, and I wrote it all out. And I said, for the first 5 people who join and pay in full by the end of October, I'll give you 50% off. And up until that point in my business, I had not really done promotional discounts. Like, I don't really often say, hey, it's normally this, but if you sign up now, it's this. I don't normally do that. Like, the value is what it is. The price is what it is. So when I did this, my clients were like, 50% off, heck yeah. And I got 4 clients in on that deal, like really, really quickly. So then I started teasing it on social media and like talking about how I did this. And then Jen Levitz, she's here on the, she's commenting on the live stream here. She saw that tease. She Facebook messaged me, asked me for the details. I sent her that same message I sent my clients, just no sales page, just listed out the details of the offer. And she signed up through Facebook Messenger. So there I had 5 people in my mastermind for 50% off, paid in full by the end of October. That was a really, really great influx of cash. That gave me the motivation to keep going. So what I did was I used that momentum and I used that motivation to set a really big goal for myself. I'm the type of person where if I set like a $2 million goal, I'm going to hit it's going to like inspire really, really big action, and I'm going to hit $1 million. So even though I don't hit the $2 million goal, like I don't beat myself down because I'm still proud of myself for making $1 million. There are some people who aren't like that. Like if they hit a $2 million goal, or if they set a $2 million goal and they only make $1 million, they're going to beat themselves up because, oh, they only made $1 million. I'm not like that. I will celebrate every win that I get, and the bigger the goal that I set, the bigger the action I will take. So I set $1 million goal knowing that I wasn't going to do, like, I'm not a hustle person. I wasn't going to do a typical launch style. So I set $1 million hustle-free goal for myself. And that inspired bigger action and bigger commitment for myself with the launch. So Jen said, yeah, I'll beat myself up. Yeah, some people are like that. I know myself. So that's how I set my goals. Whenever I'm doing any type of offer, I set the goal really, really high, knowing that that's not really my goal. But if I set it, it'll inspire bigger action. If you're not like that, then just adjust your goals according to your personality. That's what I did for myself. I adjusted it according to my personality. Now, at this point, I was really motivated. I was really inspired. I had 5 people in a mastermind. I told them that I was going to fill it with 50 people. So yeah, I had to go get into action. I couldn't, I couldn't afford to not do anything from there. So what I did was I decided to use the summit as a way to get people into the mastermind because I was already doing this summit. And the way that most summits work is you have a VIP ticket where after people join the summit, there's like an upsell where people can buy the recordings, a phone call, and a training. In my case, it was for $97. Usually it's like $27, $47. So I knew those VIP ticket holders had phone calls in that bundle. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll do another resell campaign to resell these ticket holders into the mastermind. So I got those VIP ticket holders, those buyers from the summit, onto the phone to sell them into the mastermind. So that was the next thing that I did. Once that was done, so by that point, I had exhausted the leads for my previous program. I had exhausted the leads for my summit. I had to get new leads. Now, rather than going to like Facebook or going to get like a bunch of affiliates to go and promote me, I decided to keep doing my own cash injection campaigns. And there are 2 more cash injection campaigns that I have, which is a hit list campaign and a referral campaign with your clients. So what I did is I went back to all of my clients, even the people who had just joined the mastermind and hadn't even started the mastermind yet. I went back to them and I said, hey, I've got this mastermind. Do you know anyone who would be a good fit for it? And I even ran like a little contest and I said, like, the next person who sends in a referral, I'll pay for you to get a trademark with my lawyer, Valerie. So I ran a little contest for it with my clients. I didn't have like friends and affiliates promoting me to their lists. I don't do that. My clients, I find, are the best referral partners because they know me, they trust me, they've seen my results, they know my product, they know my service. So I really only do referrals with my clients. So I went back to all of my clients and I asked them this. I asked them, hey, actually, the way that I worded it is I said, I just set an intention for myself to welcome 5 new clients this week into my mastermind, and I set an action for myself to reach this. So I was hoping that you could help me reach this intention by referring people to me. So would you or anyone you know be interested in this offer? That was essentially the wording. And I went and I sent that out to all of my clients, and then I got a bunch of referrals coming in. Jen Levitz, she's here commenting. She's the same person who joined through Facebook Messenger. That woman's a freaking referral monster. So she was awesome. I also did a hit list campaign. So a hit list campaign is basically when you write a hit list of people who you want to buy from you and you go off and you like tell them that basically. So Ann Strout, she's the person who I'm running my certified cash injection coach program with. She's a client in my mastermind, but she wasn't originally. I think maybe she had bought like one thing from me like a long time ago. But beyond that, we were just kind of like buds. Like I was on her radio show. She was on my podcast. But I knew that she was an up-and-comer. I knew that she was a tipping point entrepreneur. She's one of those people who's really going to go places, and I wanted to help her do that. So I reached out to her and I told her that. I said, hey, like, you're on my radar, and I think you'd be a great fit for my mastermind. Would you be open to me sending you details? And she said, yeah. And I sent her details, and then she joined. So she was on my hit list. I sent her a message telling her I thought she was awesome and I could help her, and then she joined. So I reached out to past clients from my BAM Academy program. I leveraged the summit that I was already doing. I did a referral campaign for my clients. I did a hit list campaign. By that time, this was like November, and it was the holidays. And to be honest, I was getting a little tired of talking about the mastermind because I get bored. So, and I had gotten some no's. Like I had a list of people who I had talked to about the mastermind and they had said no. And those are good leads. Like just because they're not joining the mastermind doesn't mean that they're not good leads. I always say all clients are created equal. So what I did was I decided to run a spontaneous Black Friday sale for my cash injections. Because what I noticed is in a lot of the conversations that I was having about the mastermind, people would be really interested in the cash injection portion and they really wanted that and they couldn't afford everything else. So they said no to joining the mastermind, but they really wanted the cash injections. So I was like, okay, let me create an offer for that. So I spontaneously created a Black Friday offer, which was my cash injection intensives, like it was basically a 2-week race to make as much money as possible. And I sold that for Black Friday for $1,000, got 18 people to buy, many of which were people who had said no to the mastermind. My idea basically being, I'm going to exhaust my leads talking about the mastermind. So let me just pause talking about the mastermind, introduce a different offer to give them a little bit of break. I've got all these people who have said no to the mastermind. So let me give them something else. So they bought this and I'm going to get them to make money in 2 weeks. I'm going to get them to make so much money in 2 weeks that then they'll join the mastermind. So it was a way of kind of diverting attention away from the mastermind, but then leading it back into it. A lot of people will, you've got to pay a lot up front in order for them to help you make money. My strategy was really, I'm going to have you join. In 2 weeks, I'm going to have you make money, and then you're going to reinvest it into the program. And many of them did. I'll show you those numbers in just a second. First, I just want you to understand the process. So I'm almost done the story, and I see there's some questions coming in. I'll answer these in just a second. I just want you to understand the story first, okay? So I sold the cash injection intensive for Black Friday. While I was doing this, I wanted an opportunity to increase the value of the masterminders. For everyone who already bought the mastermind, they were already getting the cash injections. So me saying, I'm launching a cash injection intensive for Black Friday, my masterminders aren't going to buy that. So that's not going to increase the lifetime value of my masterminders. So I wanted to come up with a different Black Friday offer for the people in the mastermind. So that's what I did. I came up with a website package. Basically, it was like a done-for-you website package, which I used to do a whole lot of these. And I offered it to the people who already bought the mastermind, knowing that a buyer is a buyer, and it's easier to get a buyer to buy again than it is to get someone who doesn't know me to buy. So for Black Friday, since I couldn't sell the masterminders the intensive, I created the website and I offered them the website package as like an upsell or an add-on to the mastermind. Some point within all of this going on, I completely stopped making content. I completely stopped doing my regular newsletters. I completely stopped posting in my Facebook group because I realized that I had to laser focus and really be essentialist in my thinking. I needed to take conversion actions. I needed to take sales actions, not nurture actions. So I really needed to laser focus on talking to the people who were going to make me money, not doing all of these millions of things that everyone tells you have to do that doesn't actually make you money. So I stopped my newsletter, I stopped my podcast, I stopped my videos, I stopped posting in my group, and I just focused on having conversations. I knew the more conversations I had, the more money I was going to make, even if I wasn't doing a really visible, big affiliate launch. So I just continued having calls. I continued taking actions to get as many calls on my calendar as possible and really focusing on doing a great job with my mastermind clients. So in that time, I swear I'm almost done with the story. In that time, one of my clients, Anne, we came up with an idea of doing a certification for these cash injection campaigns because the cash injections at this point had made my client, the masterminder, so much money, my VIP clients so much money. So we decided to come up with a certification, and she was going to help me with it. And we were originally going to like push it off and do it a little bit later, but long story short, we decided to do an offer stack, which is basically what this whole thing was. I don't know if you've noticed that. This whole thing is an offer stack. Like I had the group program, the VIP ticket, the mastermind, the intensive, the website package, and now the certification. It was an offer stack. It was offer, leading clients to higher and higher offers, almost back to back. So, we intended to wait on it, but long story short, we released it early. And since many of the masterminders had already been through the cash injections, we just went back to them again and again tried to increase the value of each mastermind buyer. And we offered them certification. Then we went back to anyone who said no to the mastermind or who bought the cash injection intensive and wanted to be certified in it, and just talked to those people about the certification. So then we filled that. Once all was said and done, so that was the last offer in the stack, was the certification. That was the last offer in the stack. And once all of that was done, I went on a cruise. Because I needed it at that point. I needed a vacation at that point. So that was the very end of the launch, was the certification, and then I went on a week-long cruise. Because I needed it. Sorry. So that's kind of the story. That's what I did. Now, in terms of what I did not do, I did not have this all planned out in advance. This was all completely spontaneous. Every single offer in this stack was completely spontaneous. I did not have a sales page for the mastermind. I literally just was emailing people or Facebook messaging people information or talking to them about it on the phone, and that was it. I didn't have affiliates promoting this to their list. I didn't really use my Facebook group or my list at all. In a lot of cases, the only reason people knew I was making money is because I was saying it in the group. They couldn't see the sales happening. I didn't do any webinars. I didn't do any of the typical grueling launch stuff that everyone hates. So that's why I call it an anti-launch. It was basically offer stacking, taking entry-level buyers, getting them to buy again, and then having conversations rather than taking tons of like launch actions. It was an anti-launch. And it made me $562,000 in that time. So that's the story. I've got to get these questions. So I see some of you guys have sent questions. My phone, apparently the charger I had it in wasn't working, so my phone died. I'm trying to get it back up, but I've got it on my computer over here. But I also want to share with you the numbers. So let me take a look at these questions, and then I'm going to share with you the numbers so you can actually see like the profit and the, what do you call it? Expenses, all that good stuff. So let me look at these questions. Okay. Brendan says, what kind of mic are you using and what's holding up your iPhone? Totally unrelated to the launch, but I will answer. This is a Rode microphone, and this is just like a, I don't know, it's like a phone tripod. Although my phone is dead now because I thought it was plugged in and it's not. Oh, I can plug it into this computer. Duh, Amanda. I've got this new MacBook Pro and they don't take like the normal USBs. So okay, there we go. That should help. So yeah, Rode microphone and like a little tripod. Wendy says, when you create a mastermind program, how do you know what your clients need most since there's so much that you could possibly cover? How can you ensure people get great outcomes without overwhelm? So Wendy, this really goes back to having a signature system in place in your business so that you know the system and the process and the steps that you're taking your clients from, that you're taking your clients through to get them from point A to point B. So for me, my signature system is if you're a new business owner, I do cash injections with you, I do list building with you, and I do launching with you, anti-launching. So that's my signature system for my new business owners. So that was my offer was created around. It was created around those 3 steps. And that's how all of my offers are created. It's created around those systems. For established business owners, it's they're trying to scale. So it's around automation, leveraged offers, and delegation or systems. So that's what that was organized around. So when you have a system that details how you get your clients from point A to point B in a step-by-step fashion, it's really, really easy to come up with offers and to create offers that get your clients results without that overwhelm. So hopefully that answers your question. Nath says, speaking of summits, he was happy to be invited as one of the speakers in a wealth summit last week. Oh, cool. Congrats. That's really exciting. Catherine said, how much time did it take to deliver the services you made the $562,000 with? So it's a year-long program. It's a mastermind. So there's going to be 4 retreats, one a quarter. We just had one a couple weeks ago. I can't remember. It's all a blur. But it's 4 retreats, 1 per quarter, and then they get like Voxer in between and Facebook group support in between. So it is a year-long offer. Oh yeah, no, I didn't wing the so Wendy says, oh, so you didn't wing the content. Well, I didn't have the content created, and it's not a content-based program. It's an action-based program. They come to the retreat and then they take action at the retreat. Like this most recent one for the Operation Cash Flow clients, which is my mastermind for new business owners. Live in the room, they were pitching speakers for summits and getting yeses from their speakers for the summits. Live in the room, they were pitching publicity outlets and getting publicity live in the room. For Operation Automation, which is my established business owner mastermind, live in the room, they were creating their operating procedures and their SOP book for their business. So it's an implementation and an action-oriented offer. So I didn't actually have to create a ton of content for them. So I didn't have like all the content done in advance, but I didn't really need to because that's not the type of offer that it was. And even if it was, I typically sell and then I create anyway. How do you know what your, oh wait, I already answered that, just kidding. So Catherine is saying, did you send individual emails or a mass email? Individual, mostly individual, almost all individual. So when I was reaching out to previous clients, individual emails. When I was reaching out to clients to get referrals, it was individuals. When I was reaching out to my hit list, it was individual. So it was manual. I wasn't going for like bulk. I wasn't going for like I'm going to build my list like super duper huge and then just send out tons of emails and hope that something sticks. That wasn't the strategy. I wasn't going for quantity. I was going for the quality of relationship. I was going for intimate interactions. So I just reached out to the right people and had targeted conversations. Okay. So I think I covered most of the questions. Now let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay, so you can see here on the screen, this kind of lists out where all of the clients came from. So 10 of the clients came from, 10 of the people in my mastermind anyway. Hold on, let me see if I can move that. 10 of the people in my mastermind were previous clients, basically people who had bought either a either a $197 offer or, even less than that. Previous clients who had bought either a $97 offer, a $197 offer, a $297 offer, or a $2,000 offer. So I had a pool of clients who had bought within those ranges. And I went back and, like I said, in my resell campaign, I went to them to offer them the mastermind and then Facebook messaged them, had conversations, and got them on the phone and sold them into the mastermind. So between the ranges of $97 and $2,000, these people went and bought a mastermind. And the reason why I love showing this is because a lot of people will say that, a lot of people like make entry level clients or low ticket clients out to be bad. Like, they're not as good of people or good of clients just because they're buying entry level offers. And I just think that that's bull crap. Like, you see that, like, you can, if you do the math, these are, so 10 previous clients, then the intensive upsells, those are clients. My referrals, 4 of those came from clients. Over a third of my sales came from clients, came from entry level, low ticket clients. So I don't think marketing coaches give entry level clients enough credit. I say all clients are created equal. A client is more likely to buy again and buy at a higher level than someone who doesn't know you. So 10 of these mastermind sales came from previous clients who had bought anywhere between $97 and $2,000 from me. 3 of them came from the summit. So when I ran the summit and I did the VIP ticket upsell and I got people on the phone after the summit, 3 of them bought from that. 4 people bought from referrals. So I went back to my previous clients or my current clients and I asked them, who do you know who would be a good fit for the mastermind? 4 referrals came from that. 3 sales came from the intensive. So of the 18 people who joined the intensive for Black Friday, the cash injection intensive, 3 of them said, well, hell, I made so much money just in these 2 weeks. Of course it makes sense to join the mastermind. So they went and joined the mastermind. I had one person, Anne, my lovely Anne, who joined from my hit list where I said, hey, I think you'll be a good fit. I think like you're a mover and shaker. I could really help you get to the next level. Do you want info on the mastermind? She said, yeah, and she joined. 2 people actually came from my podcast. And my podcast is pretty young. My podcast it's only been out there since like June or July of last year. It's pretty young. And most people think that the only way to monetize a podcast is through like sponsorships. That's like the way that most people, that's like the default way, like place to go to monetize a podcast. But what I did instead is at the end of my podcast, I pitched people to go into an automated webinar. And on that automated webinar, it pitches a phone call. So they listen to the podcast, go to the automated webinar, listen to the automated webinar, get pitched a phone call, come to the phone, and buy the mastermind. So that happened with 2 people. Now that same automated funnel, that same automated webinar also led to 4 other sales. Not from the podcast, but just like, people going to my site or going into the group and finding the automated webinar and then buying from the automated, getting on the phone and then buying from the phone from the automated webinar. 2 people bought from Facebook where they just saw me like teasing it and where I was like mentioning how great my masterminders were doing. And then they Facebook messaged me and we got on the phone and they bought from there. And then there were 2 people who were just other because I couldn't really remember where they came from. So I'm not really sure what to make of those people. But this is the places where they all came from. So again, you can see over a third of these came from previous clients, and that should give you an incentive to really treat your clients like freaking gold, okay? So that's where the clients came from. If you have questions about that, feel free to put it in the chat, not the chat box, the comment section. And I'm going to go over the numbers so you can actually see the expenses that went into this. Oh, so actually, before I do that, Catherine is asking, what was the price point for the mastermind? So the mastermind, the way that it was set up is the earlier you signed up, the better deal you got. So the first 5 people, they got 50% off. It was only $10,000. Then the next 5 people, it was $15,000, then it was $16,000, then it was $18,000, and I never got it over $18,000. So it was, what is that called? It was it increased as it went along. That's what I'm trying to get at. So the earlier you sign up, the better deal you got, which is pretty typical with me. Pretty much all of my launches, the earlier you sign up, the better deal you get, whether it's through a promotional discount or a bonus or a series of bonuses. Okay, so then Alexandra's saying, for those companies just starting out, how do you build social proof in the form of testimonials, reviews, or case studies when you don't have clients yet? So Alexandra, when I first started out, and obviously this is not like an overnight thing. This has been a couple years in the making. My coaching business, I believe, is 2 years old. Time is a blur to me. I don't know. So this has been in the making. It's not like an overnight thing. If you're starting out and you don't have clients yet, so obviously you can't get testimonials or case studies and things like that yet. What I did in the beginning was I took clients on for very little money so that I could get them in and get some testimonials right away. So I like to, there was actually like a poll in this group the other day too, where someone was asking like, would you apply to work with a client? And I was like, I don't have an ego around myself. I am not above applying to work with a client, just like I'm not above lowering my prices in the beginning to get some clients in the door, to get some experience in the door. There's a lot of marketing coaches who just say to go straight out of the door and go high ticket and have all of these, they kind of push you into doing that model right from the start. But for me, I wasn't above getting some clients in the door, with much smaller rates, much cheaper rates in the beginning, so that I could get some experience and get some results. I remember actually one of my clients, Marta, she's in the mastermind. She's been with me from the beginning. We were joking about this the other day. She's been with me since I started out in this industry as a virtual assistant. And I remember having a phone call with her years ago. And I was working at a website company, and they were only paying me 10 or 15 an hour. And I remember having a phone call with Marta being like, I just want to be paid what I'm worth. And she said, what are you worth? And I said, at least $20 an hour. Which is so funny looking back on it, that was a conversation that I had. But I was not above doing that in order to get some clients in the door, in order to get some experience in the door at first, okay? So hopefully that helps you there, Alexandra. So let's take a look at the revenue and the expenses and the profit. So in terms of revenue, the summit made $3,000 in telesummit upsells. So VIP tickets. The intensive on Black Friday made $18,000. So 18 people bought a $1,000 offer. The mastermind itself, so people just buying the mastermind itself, was 421. Whoops, that's too many zeros. $421,000. Then doing upsells to the masterminders to increase the value of each member of the mastermind. I made $50,000 in website upsells, $15,000 in certification upsells, $50,000 in other certification sales, going back to people who had done the intensive or said no to the mastermind and getting them to join the certification. During the process of this, there were a couple other sales that came in as a result of these efforts. I had one client who saw me talking about the mastermind and decided not to do the mastermind, but did something else with me, and she paid me $2,000. And that happened with two other people, and that made me $3,000. So all in all, it was $562,000 with this offer stack. Now this excludes any sales that were unrelated to these programs, these funnels, this offer stack. So excludes anything like that. I've got a Money Nerds program that's $197. I got my pack program that's $297. And I did get some sales in for those things while I was doing all of this, but I didn't include that because I wasn't intentionally trying to do that. It just happened. This is the stuff that I was intentionally trying to do. So that's the income. In terms of expenses, I had to pay some money to create the summit. So that was $1,000. These are all estimates, by the way. In terms of legal, I'm really big right now on making sure all my legal shit is in order. So I hire Valerie Del Grosso. She's the legal advisor who I use in my business. She runs a legal membership where you can get access to like legal templates at Biz Love Society. But I didn't just want templates. I wanted her to actually create contracts and stuff for me. So she created custom contracts for these offers. That was around $10,000. And then some trademarks were in there too. Like I wanted to trademark the stuff that I was doing. So Marketing Nerds Mastermind, Cash Injection Coach, Cash Injection Certification, that stuff's trademarked. The website upsell that I did, obviously there's fulfillment that goes into that, where we did photos for people, brand boards. They've got to create the website. So that's around $15,000. For the clients who sent referrals for the mastermind, those 4 referrals, that's around $12,000 in referral commissions. Anne, who I'm running the certification with, basically the way that I set that up is if I make a sale, then I get 60% of the money. If she makes the sale, she gets 40% of, if I make the sale, I get 60%. If she makes the sale, she gets 60%. So based on all of that, I'm paying her $24,000 for the certification. I had to pay $2,000 to get some like marketing stuff in place, like some marketing collateral for the certification. In the mastermind, I pay a mindset expert and a tech expert and then like a brainstorming expert for the program members. And that was around $15,000. And then the biggest chunk is just fulfilling the mastermind with the retreats, because the retreats themselves, you have to pay for like the space, you have to pay for the hotel room, the flight, all of that. So that's around $32,000 and then just $1,000 miscellaneous. So all in all, $112,000 in expenses. These are estimates. Some of these have not happened yet. Like we haven't done all of the retreats. I haven't finished the websites. So these are estimates, and it doesn't include my normal operating expenses. It just included stuff related to this offer stack. Okay, so that is the expenses. If you do the math, that comes out to $450,000 in profit, which is not too bad if I say so myself. So that's the numbers. Now, before we get into the lessons learned, let me see if you guys have some questions, okay? Oh, yay, my phone turned back on. That's exciting. So now you guys know the story. You know where the clients came from. You know the revenue. You know the expenses, you know the profit. The last thing that I want to go through is the lessons learned and like the big things to take away from all of this, because some of these lessons are like hidden gems within this story. So I'm going to go through 10 lessons learned and tips based on the success of this anti-launch. First, I want to make sure that there's no questions that I haven't answered yet. And if you've asked a question down further that I haven't answered, you can always repost it. Let's see here. Jordan says, what advice do you have on crowdfunding? You're my new favorite person. What's your background? Were you always... I'm your new favorite person, Jordan. Oh, thank you. You're my new favorite person too. The background is a, what do you call it? It's a step and repeat banner. So it, I don't know. It's just like a thing I got printed on uprinting.com and just like have it standing in the background. I've never done crowdfunding. I cannot teach you anything about it. I'm sorry. Was I always business minded? Actually, funny enough, I used to hate business. I remember growing up, I had a boyfriend who was all about business, and he used to talk about how he wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I was like, that's so boring, that's stupid, and I like used to belittle him for it. I was a terrible girlfriend then. And now, of course, irony, now I like business. Jen says that profit doesn't suck. I agree. Crystal says, what was the time frame for selling these offers? So I started selling the mastermind mid-October, and then the intensive and the website I sold in November. In December, I went back to selling the mastermind. And then in January, I started selling the certification. So I don't know, you do the math on how long that is. But yeah, that was like the progression of the offer. So about a month, like a span of a month in between each offer. Hey, Anna. Hey, Tiffany. Crystal says, that's amazing. Bernie says, you're awesome. Bernie Britt, that's my cousin. She's crazy. All right, cool. So let's go to the lessons learned. So you know the story, you know the profit, all that good stuff. So here's the lessons learned. So there are 10 that I really want to go through right now. So the first one is to aim for at least 2 times what you want in terms of your goals, because big goals will inspire big action. For me, I aim for $1 million and I landed at over $500,000. Next time, I'll probably aim for $2 million and I'll reach $1 million. So big goals inspire big action. If you think about it, like if you're reaching for like $100,000 launch versus $1 million launch, your actions are going to be very, very different. Your mindset is going to be very, very different. So big goals inspire big action. Don't limit yourself. And if it helps, hang out with people who set bigger goals than you do. For me, I hung out with millionaires. Next, I'm going to be hanging out with some billionaires, because the way I look at it, 7 figures is not a whole lot. So I'm going to be hanging out with billionaires next. And that's going to change my mindset so that it changes my goals, so that it changes my actions. Okay, so big goals inspire big actions. And if you're not ready for those big goals yet, hang out with people who will get you into that mindset. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to focus first on just making the first sale, because that will force you to have to keep going. That will force you to have to fill your offers. So for me, like I said, I had not launched a mastermind before, except for with a business partner. And even then, like, she did most of that work and I just did most of the done for you stuff. Like I did most of like the tech stuff. So, it was kind of like new territory for me, and it was something I was a little nervous about. But what I did is I set myself up to get that one sale in really quickly and really easily by having that no-brainer 50% off deal. And then it forced me, like I couldn't have a client in the mastermind and then not fill the mastermind. I can't do that. So making that one sale is the first thing that you should focus on, because once you get that one sale, you have to finish. You have to keep going. You have to fill it. So like, it's kind of like a mindset thing. You trick yourself into having to keep going. Focus first on just making the first sale, and that will force you to fill the rest. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is to embrace essentialist thinking and really consider what is necessary right now to get results, and then forget about everything else. In this entrepreneurial world, we're told like we have to do all of these things. We have to do Facebook ads, and we have to do list building, and we have to do like webinars and get affiliates and all these things, but they don't all make you money, at least not right now. So when you're trying to focus on making money, really get essentialist in your thinking and ask yourself what is essential right now to get results. So for me, I ditched my content. I ditched my newsletter. I ditched my podcast. I ditched my vlogs. I ditched even this Facebook group. Sorry, guys. For months, so that I could focus on just the actions that were going to make me money right then. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4 is to remember that Influence is closely linked to income. If you look at a lot of the high income earners in this industry, they are seen as influencers and they are hanging out with other influencers and they're doing things that influencers do, like speaking on podcasts and getting featured on Fast Company and those types of things. So hang out with other influencers, really invest in your authority, invest in being in your branding, in being in your publicity, in being seen as an influencer, because influence is linked to income. That's number 4. Number 5 is leverage offer stacking. So if you notice, I kept saying this offer stack. So my offer stack was BAM Academy was my group program, the VIP ticket for the mastermind, the VIP ticket for the telesummit, the mastermind, the intensive, the website, and the certification. So there was a stack of offers. It was one offer after another because I succeeded in maximizing the lifetime value of my customers. And I succeeded in turning maybes and no's from one offer into yeses for another offer. So if they said no to the mastermind, they said yes to the intensive. If they said no to the mastermind, they said yes to the certification. If they said yes to the mastermind, they said yes to the website, so on and so forth. Stack your offers. You are leaving so much money on the table if you just stop at one offer. Stack them. Okay, that's number 5. Number 6 is don't be afraid to give your biggest value up front. So launching my cash injection intensive for Black Friday for $1,000 was crazy. Basically, what I did was I said, in 2 weeks, I'm going to make you enough money that you can then go and you can invest in my mastermind. And that was crazy. I was only having them spend $1,000 to be able to get the biggest results so they could then go and reinvest with me. And that was like hoping they would reinvest with me. They didn't have to. They could have paid the $1,000, made $23,000, and then went off. That was a really big value, giving the cash injections right away without them having to join the mastermind. And I did it anyway. I did it because I was confident in myself. I was confident in my results. And I know the value of treating your clients like gold, which is actually number 7. That's my 7th tip, is to treat your clients like gold. You'll notice that over a third of my sales came from previous clients. 3 more of them came from people who joined the intensive and then joined the mastermind. So they were previous clients. And then 4 of them came from referrals from those clients. So I think it was like 17 of these clients of like 29 or 31 or something like that came from clients. So serve first, and then your service will sell itself. If you treat your clients well, the rest just kind of happens. All right, that's number 7. If I'm going too fast, let me know. 8 would be take time on your automated sales funnels. They're not easy, but they are worth the effort when they're done right. 6 of my sales, so $90,000 of my sales, came from my automated webinar, where I was sending traffic to the automated webinar. They would go through the automated webinar, get on the phone, and then I would sell them into the mastermind. $90,000, 6 sales came from that. So, and that is something that I really worked on. Like, I did not just like whip up an automated webinar. I had to redo that webinar like 5 times. Automated sales funnels are not easy. They do take time. In the 10 months when I wasn't doing offers, I was making automated webinars. So in those 10 months, that was how I was living. I was living off of automated webinars. And $90,000 in this anti-launch came out of that. So it was worth the effort. 9 would be to always schedule time for yourself amidst your money making, because it's not just about the profit, it's also about the process of making the profits. So I gave myself time in this offer stack, in this anti-launch, to reach my goals. I wasn't trying to like hustle and work 24/7 to get to this $500,000. I was gonna take care of myself in the process and make sure I enjoyed it, that I had fun, that I didn't like hate myself, that I didn't hate the business in the middle of it. And as soon as it was all over, I went on a freaking cruise. And I bought a lot of stuff for my house because I like buying stuff for my house. So take care of yourself. It's not just about the profit. It's not just about the $500,000. It's about the process of making those results come to life. It's about the process. Don't forget that. And then last and not least, number 10 is you don't have to launch the way that everyone else does. You don't have to plan it. You don't have to have webinars. You don't have to have affiliates. You don't even have to have a freaking sales page. Break the rules. Break the mold. Embrace the anti-launch. You do not have to do it the way that everyone else does. In fact, you'll stand out if you don't. You'll stand out if you don't do it that way. So, and you'll probably have more fun. Like for me, I don't find that typical launch style fun. Like I don't find it fun to have to like blast my list with tons of emails. I don't find it fun to have to like blast my Facebook group with tons of promotional posts. I don't find it fun to have to go and like find a freaking million affiliates and go and chase after them to make sure that they're promoting and have to track all of this stuff and send them commissions. And I don't find it fun to be doing a webinar every 2 seconds or a challenge every 2 seconds. That's not fun for me. That's work for me. I wanted to make it easy and make it seamless. I wanted an anti-launch, and that's what I did. And you can do that too. So those are my lessons. Those are the 10 lessons from my anti-launch, my $500,000 anti-launch. So now you've got the story. You've got where my clients came from. You've got the revenue, the expenses, the profit, and the lessons. That's all I have for you today. I am open to doing a Q&A though. So if you want to stick around and you want to ask questions about anti-launches, cash injections, masterminds, I don't know, anything, I'm here to answer. So I'm going to stick around and answer you guys' questions. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you learned a lot, okay? Alrighty, let's do the Q&A. Lori says, woohoo for the half-ass launches that make money. Yeah. Yeah. Michelle says, congrats on an awesome launch. Let's call it an anti-launch, guys. Cause I'm not cool with all that like launch jazz, It was a little unconventional. It was pretty unconventional. So anti-launch. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. Oh my God, Facebook. Anna says, hashtag anti-launch. Yeah. Alexandra says, what tools are you using for automated webinars? Stealth Seminar. So I use Stealth Seminar for my automated webinars, which is a pretty highly recommended software from a lot of sales funnel experts. They just have phenomenal support. I mean, you can literally record a webinar file, send it to them, and they'll set it all up for you. I mean, their support is phenomenal. Cassie says, love the anti-launch. We'll catch up with this in the morning. Yes, I know you Brit, you go to sleep. I know we have we've got a lot of time zones here, so I will keep the replay up for you guys if you want to go back to it, okay? And then actually the reason why I was doing this, in addition to, giving value, is because I'm working smarter right now. I think it's Smart Hustle magazine wants to do a feature on me about this story. So rather than writing it up, I decided I'm going to do a live stream about it, obviously record it, give it to my publicist, and they're going to transcribe it, turn it into an article, and it'll be featured, I think, on Smart Hustle magazine, if I'm remembering correctly. So the written version of it will be available there too at some point. Let's see. Facebook is being funky. Ninja says, Jen says, Ninja, recording for written. Yes, that's kind of my MO. I don't like to write things anymore. It's so funny. I went to school for writing. One of my undergraduate degrees, I have three, one of my undergraduate degrees is in writing, and I have graduate level coursework that I've done in writing, and I don't want to write anymore. So I just record everything, and my publicist goes and she ghost writes it all for me. So if you see blogs that I've written on other people's blogs, so if you see guest blogs I've written, I've probably just recorded it, and then my publicist has ghost written it for me. Christy Dash, highly recommended. Shireen says, I have a question on the timeline. How did you remain patient over the 10 months? What did you recommend to startups on this process? Well, so in those 10 months, I was still making money. I was still paying myself. I still was making multiple six figures. I still made multiple six figures. I think it was like $300,000 in the year without a single launch, just from automated income, just from sales funnels, from passive income. So I was still paying myself. I was still fine. So it was easy to be patient. I also had a lot in the works. I play the long game. I'm not concerned necessarily with how I make money right now. I'm concerned with making easy money in the long run. So I invested time in setting up those automated sales funnels. That way I could have 10 months of leisure. I invested time in getting my brand in place. That way, when I did this anti-launch, I could make a hustle-free $500,000. So for me, I am a patient business owner. I'm a patient I'm a patient marketer. I don't worry about hustling now to make tons of money now. I am very intentional and strategic about making easier money and wealth in the long run. So it's my personality, that's part of it, but I also set myself up so that I could have a leisurely, 10 months while still paying myself and paying the business and paying for the rebrand, because I had automated sales funnels that were working for me. Lisa says hustle free $500,000 sounds like a new program. Yeah, maybe. Cool. Shireen says, yay for the anti-launch. Thanks, Amanda. You are very welcome, my dear. And thank you, Shireen. So Shireen, Jen, Lisa, Lori, I see she's on here. They're all members of the mastermind. Crystal, she's in the certification. So we've got a lot of my amazing clients on here. Thank you guys for coming to support. I appreciate you. And I keep hitting this thing. I keep hitting it with my chin. So do you guys have any last minute questions? I'll give you a couple more minutes if you have any last minute questions about the launch, the anti-launch. Fuck, see, I can't even, I'm even doing it now. The anti-launch. Hustle-free anti-launch. So Sharon says, who do you recommend to work with for branding and to help establish authority? So this is a two-part answer, branding and authority. So in terms of authority, I'll do that one first. I'll do branding first. So in terms of branding, Minling Chuang, who runs Brand Fame School, she is an amazing brand strategist. And then for the second part, authority, Minling and I are actually releasing a program called FAME, which stands for Fans, Authority, Money, and Empire. We're releasing a program called FAME in May or June. Stay tuned for details about how to grow your influence, grow your authority, grow your famedom online so you can turn that influence into income. So for authority, stay tuned for me and Minling's FAME program. And then for branding, reach out to Minling at brandfameschool.com, I believe. And Jen says, yes, Minling rocks. She really does. I posted on my profile like a week or two ago, a picture of me and Minling, and we were just being really goofy. So she has my same, if you like my geeky, nerdy, weird, goofy personality, she's like that too. So, oh, and another cool thing that came out of this anti-launch, t-shirts. I was like, what better way to welcome my mastermind clients into the mastermind than giving them free t-shirts? So I created 3 t-shirts, these, which say market like a nerd, another one that says Operation Cash Flow, and another one that says Operation Automation, and I gave free t-shirts to the mastermind clients. I'm so excited. So Jen says, most of your mastermind peeps are crazy like you. Yes, they are. They are indeed. I do attract a crazy crowd, but I love them oh so dearly. Alice says, would this work for tangible products? And if so, how? Yes, the whole premise around this, anti-launch is to build up traffic and then put an offer in front of it. And rather than building up like tons and tons and tons of traffic, you're building up the right traffic. So rather than trying to get like 100,000 people on your mailing list, you're getting like 10,000 of the right people on it. And then you're just putting an offer in front of them. So that works the same thing. That works the same way with art. Where are loyal art buyers? Where are, how can you get art buyers who are more like, who has ever bought your art before? Because they're going to buy it again. Who can you go to ask, hey, do you know anyone who wants to buy this art? So where can you get referrals for your art? Who would you love to buy your art? That's a hit list. So go for really targeted traffic. That way you're talking to the right people instead of trying to talk to everyone. Hey, Marta, how's it going? Shireen says, they are great t-shirts. Thank you. I agree. I like them. All right, guys. So it doesn't seem like we have any other questions. I see there's still a whole lot of people on. Thank you. I hope that you're enjoying my craziness. Alice says, awesome, thanks. You are very, very welcome. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this and it gave you like a little sneak peek into what works, and this can give you some ideas for what you can do in your own business, give you some permission to stop doing things you don't want to do in your own business. I hope that you got a lot out of it and that you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed having you guys here, and I look forward to doing the next one. For now, that is all. AGP out.